things. We have clear communication. And sometimes before we're done, we'll evaluate how we are doing. Okay. All right. That's the program. We have covered many of the 21 laws of leadership, governing leadership. Many of you have exams you have taken, and I hope you have learned a lot so far. For those of you who were not in the last session, thank you. You can put it yes. Yeah, we're going to use that word. For those of you who were not in the last two sessions, what I did is I had your wives evaluate your leadership skills, because you might think you're a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, and your wife may think you're a 6. We figured your wives or your girlfriend would know you better than anybody else. So, JB, see what your wife said about your leadership skills. And then Tim, would you open your envelope? Then Harvey, and then, can't remember your name.
Kelson.
Kelson. All right. That's just an old. Okay, leadership ability, what did you get rated?
She loved me.
She loved you. What she rated?
She loved me.
All right. She gave you a 10, all right. How about respect for others?
Ooh. She loved me.
Definitely gonna score low there.
All right. How about if you're a courageous man?
She loves me.
All right. How about your success record? Do you have a track record of success?
Kind of favorite.
What did you give
She
you?
gave me a 9.
Okay. How about loyalty to others?
10.
Adding value to others?
10.
Your problem-solving skills?
10.
Ability to attract and influence people?
10.
Okay. Well, you, according to her, your success track record is need improvement. So you have to come up with a plan to add one more success to your record. Tim.
Mine is terrible.
You gotta come up with a plan.
I'm serious.
Hang on.
I'm gonna have to talk to her when I get back.
Well, we figure she knows you better than we do.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Now on leadership ability.
She gave me an 8.
Okay. Respect for others.
She only gave me a 7.
Display of courage.
9.
Success record.
Only a 7.
Loyalty.
Only an 8.
Value to others.
She gave me a 7 again.
Okay.
Problem solving skills, I got a 6.
Okay. Ability to attract and influence people.
7.
Okay. So you have. So
I got a lot of work to do.
there you go. You got a lot of work. So if you were here for that lesson plan, we tailored a lesson individually for you where you can work on your area of weakness. Don't go home and fight your wife or your girlfriend. That's just the way. They live with you and they saw. That's the way they saw it. Harvey.
Uh-oh.
Let me borrow your template here because I don't remember this off my head. What did your wife rate your leadership ability?
10.
A 10. What did she give you for respect for others?
8.
8?
8.
Okay. You have work to do
Yeah.
there.
I like it.
Display of courage?
10.
10. Success track record?
10.
Okay. Your loyalty? 10. It must be to her. I'm talking about to everybody else. Okay. Adding value to others?
9.
9. Okay. Your problem-solving skills?
10.
Okay. Your ability to attract and influence people?
10.
Okay. So you have work to do in one or two areas.
Yeah.
Kelson, would you open your envelope, please, and tell us. What do you get for leadership ability?
4.
A 4. What did you get for respect for others?
6.
A 6. What did you get for display of courage?
8.
What did you get for a successful track record?
6.
What did you get for loyalty?
8.
What did you get for adding value to others?
3.
What did you get for your problem-solving skills?
7.
What did you get for your ability to attract and influence people?
3.
Okay.
My wife did yours too, huh?
Well, still.
I'm about to get ready to tell you. Don't worry about it. Mine was just about the same.
I'm serious.
Yes.
Man. Don't worry about it. My wife did yours.
What we could have done, we could have had each person rate themselves and have your wife or your girlfriend rate you, and you can see how you view yourself and how someone else view you is totally different. If you get under a 7 in any area, it tells you you have some work to do in that area. That's all that means. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you have some work to do. That was what we did, what, 3 lessons ago? 3, 4 lessons ago. So if you missed it, you just missed it. Dave, yes, sir.
What did the pastor say yesterday? The best ain't good enough.
The best ain't good enough?
The best is not good enough. So these 10s, I still got work to do.
Well, yeah, but it was just a test, just
I know,
to get
but
your feedback.
I'm just saying, like, you know, just overall, you know, you got to look at this as a whole. So what name the best?
Dave, we didn't get a report from you. We didn't get a report from your wife. So one.
No, I'm married. She's just a good friend.
Oh, you're not okay, but still.
Yeah.
But she would know better than.
She would know,
Yes.
know you better than we would. So it's an exercise. It's an exercise. It tells you where you are. It's not saying you're a bad person. It's not saying just how people perceive you. And sometimes what you think about yourself and how someone else sees you sometimes can be different. That's all the exercise is saying. Now, we're going to do a very quick review of the lesson we did last week. Just a quick review. If you have 2 or 3 questions, I'll take them, and then we go into this week's lesson. Last week, and by the way, Mr. Claxton asked me, this lesson we did last week, JB and Tim, this is what Claxton is recommending we do when the men's ministry takes the AY program. So this lesson is pretty popular. If you missed it last week, oh, you missed it. You missed a humbling. All right.
But you get another chance at AY.
You will
Hopefully.
get another chance at AY. So I'm just going to do a quick review. Which chapter was that? The law
Scoreboard.
Of the scoreboard. The law of the scoreboard.
Yep. I'll get one of you to hold this. This is for those who aren't here. Just record.
Trying to close these.
Yeah, I do, but I need a knife.
Man, you can turn it here.
Huh? Yeah. Just to paste it. Yeah, just to paste it.
Both sides. This judge.
All right. Oh. Yeah. Hopefully this will stand. All right. And this for this, we need about 3 minutes.
Whoa, I see a lot of criminal damage in here.
Huh? If you missed it, you'll get another chance when we do. We're going to do this program for AY.
When is it?
That's TBD. To be determined. We're thinking maybe August or so.
What's the AY?
The youth program. Yeah. We haven't been doing them often.
That's the last one we had. It's been a while.
I can't even remember. Yeah.
Oh, well, it was a real one. We had the park stuff.
Yeah.
The actual program at the church.
One more, JB, and I think that would. All right. This is a quick stuff. This is just a quick review because we have. Okay, thanks. What we said was every sport and every business has a scoreboard. There's only 2 places that don't have a scoreboard It's boxing. You don't know how the fight is going until the end of it. And if you remember the Golovkin-Canelo fight, one of the judges saw the fight so weird, you have to wonder if she filled out her judge's scorecard before she left home. Because the fight she scored and what we saw was two different things. You can't fill your scorecard out before you leave home. And in boxing, you don't know who's winning the fight until after. You just don't know. In football, you can look at the scoreboard at the end. You can tell what's the score for the home team, for the visitors, what quarter we're in. You have a scoreboard that you can tell exactly where you are. And if you know where you are, you can make adjustments. You can make decisions. The scoreboard tells you how you're doing. The church doesn't have a scoreboard. So we have to come up with one. That's the whole idea. We said the church is not a business. In Corinthians, the Apostle Paul likes it to a body. Well, if you're a body, you're a living organism. And every living organism, or not everyone, but the human body has 11 systems. Circulatory, respiratory, digestive, excretory, endocrine, immune, skeleton, muscular, reproductive, nervous, and in case this last word throw you into integumentary, it just means skin. If your child is not growing, you don't say to your child, what's wrong with you? You need to grow. You know if the child is healthy, Tim, the child will grow. So if the child is not growing, it is one of these systems that is out of whack, in disharmony or not in equilibrium or homeostasis or whatever. But whatever. If you're married to a woman, you can't have a child, well, chances are your reproductive system, could be male or female, is defective. You don't say get pregnant. You go to the doctor, you have a check. If you're a woman, it could be fibroids. If you're a man, you could have low sperm count or something is wrong. But you check.
System don't work, ain't gonna help.
It doesn't work. If a church is not growing, you don't say to the church, grow. The church doesn't grow because it is not healthy. One of the systems is not working. Now, we did say there are certain businesses like Bernie Madoff, a corrupt business. You can have an unhealthy business and it's still growing. It's still growing, but it won't be sustainable over the long term. Sooner or later, the bad practices is going to catch up with you. If you're a thief, if you're a liar, it's going to catch up with you. But unhealthy people and businesses, once in a while, they do grow. So what we did was we compared, or we put in practice, was said, all right, since the human body has 11 systems, we're going to make sure the church, which is a body, also have 11 systems. I figured out 8 of them, and our goal was we let the church aid while everybody else put the other 11. It's like a dashboard on your car. You don't want to have 30 things on your dashboard. It tells you the gas gauge, the speed you're going. It tells you the oil, you know. It's a dashboard. It gives you, if you can't look at your dashboard and tell within 5 seconds what your car is doing, something is wrong. Even if you're driving 80 miles an hour, you're supposed to be able to look at it and say, well, you know, my gas is low. So that's the 5-second rule. So we came up with 9. And if our church isn't growing or your business isn't growing, it is because one of these systems is defective. You have to fix it. All right. If your child isn't growing, you say, well, wait a minute, is this child being fed properly? You know nutrition is a problem. All right. So for the church, we don't have any circulatory system. We don't have any reproductive system. We don't have any excretory or whatever. So we have to come up with these over here. We had number 1, larger through evangelism. That's a scoreboard. If your church isn't growing, you have to evaluate your evangelistic efforts, your marketing plan, if you're a business. That's what that is. Larger through evangelism, broader through community service. What are you doing for the community? Then we have stronger through worship and prayer. Deeper through discipleship. This is where you turn an attender into a member. or the discipleship actually is the maturity, taking the person through baptismal class or whatever. That's what that is. Healthier through finances. You can't have a business or a church and you don't look at the finances. That's just not, even Hudson would tell you, that's just a no-go. You have to look at your finances. Better through buildings and grounds. If your buildings and grounds is crappy, nobody's going to come where you are. If I come to your house or you come to my house and roaches are crawling over the kitchen or whatever, I have a problem.
I grew up with roaches.
Say again?
I said I grew up with roaches.
Your buildings and grounds of your business or your church is one of the area you have to evaluate. Is your building in good repair? Is your grounds, is it attractive? Your lawn cut? Whatever. If it doesn't look attractive, people won't come. That's just the bottom line. All right. Then wider through fellowship. Smarter through leadership development and succession planning. That's what we're doing. Every business has to develop leaders for in case someone wins, in case someone gets fired, they resign, they quit, they get transferred, they die, they win the Powerball lottery or whatever you have. People quit. You need a succession planning. And then we have closer through membership, edification, and nurturing. I forgot what number 10 and 11 was.
We didn't come up with two more. That was it. Yeah.
But if your church is not growing or if your church is in problem, this is a scoreboard you need to have. The only problem is, how often are we going to update the scoreboard? Who is responsible for it? And when, if we meet as a church board or your business or whatever, once a month or once a quarter or twice a year or once a year, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to look at the scoreboard, and if you evaluate these areas from 1 to 10, if you're less than a 5, you're in trouble. If you're a 10, well, you don't need to touch that area. But if your church isn't growing, you have to look at evangelism, community service, worship, discipleship, finances, your buildings and grounds, fellowship, leadership, your membership, edification and nurturing. Those are the key areas you have to look at for your church. What we also did was, on this chart, because we had limited time, we evaluated stronger through worship and prayer. We evaluated the worship at Sharon Church. And I gave out one of this to everyone. And we had 24 questions, Tim, and we divided everybody into groups of 4 and gave each group one of this thermometer here. 24 questions, every group got 6 questions. So in 6 questions, you can do it in 2 minutes. And then you would evaluate the worship. We evaluated one area, worship and prayer at Sharon for the last year. If you got a passing score, you would move this over to the green. If your worship and prayer was between 70 and 100%, that's strong. You don't need to touch anything. If you're in the yellow area, Harvey, this should have been yellow. I didn't have. I meant red. I didn't have a
Yellow area?
Squid.
Is it off the charts?
Yes. So I couldn't find a yellow marker to buy. But this is supposed to be, my idea was replicate the traffic light. Red, yellow, green. If we got a score in the green area, well, you're doing well. If you were in the yellow area, you have work to do. It's just satisfactory, it's just adequate. If you're in the red area,
Life support.
you're on life support. That's what it is. So we had a lot of these, and everybody had a chance to rate. And when we do AY, we're going to do the same thing.
And did we come up with a composite score for that? I can't remember if we did that.
We could.
We're running out of time.
Worship, everybody was in the yellow, so it was
Yes.
no need to average it
Yes.
out. Everybody gave it adequate or marginally adequate. But if it's adequate, there's room for improvement. So we had to come up. We didn't have time. We couldn't evaluate all the systems. So what we would do when you go to your church board meeting or whatever, for these areas here, you would have a chart beside each one. And if you see evangelism, you in the yellow, you know you have work to do. If you see, for example, your buildings and grounds, where's my building and grounds? Your buildings and grounds is in the red, you know your buildings and grounds is cracked. That's what that is. So it gives everybody a chance to rate all the areas. And when you go to your meeting, you have that data. You know where you are. You can look at this right here. For example, if this is in the red, you know you're in trouble. You need to pour your energy and your resources, your time, your talent, your leadership ability into that area. Tim, you look puzzled. No. Does this make sense to you? Because if you're at home, you're married, if you don't have a budget, you can't wonder why your bank account is overdrawn or why you don't have any money in your pocket. You have to stay within your budget. You have to have a budget, and you know where you are. As I said, boxing is the only game you don't know where you are, whether you're winning the fight or not, until the fight is over. Well, it's too late. If at the 10th round you see you're behind, well, you know, the only way I can win this fight is a knockout. You know where you are. Basketball, you know where you are. Football, you know where you are. Soccer, you know where you are. With our church, we don't know where we are. The only thing we know with our finances, well, we're not. Are we running a deficit?
No,
we're not running a deficit. But what is our goal in the finances for the year? We can measure that. We can measure that. Your buildings and grounds, we know it's not in great shape. We can't compete with the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, the Methodist. We just can't compete. Our parking, we don't have parking for 100 cars. So if we bring 100 members there, or if a Baptist church wanted to merge with us, do we have this? We have work to do.
So you have those systems. I guess the question is, do you put those towards those systems, and then in 6 months to a year, you see where you are? Right.
You see where you are. So every time you have a board meeting, whether every month or every other month, you would look at those systems just like when you go to the doctor. The doctor is going to check you out. It's a 1-year physical. And you can see where you are. Right now, we just go by the seat of our pants or how we feel, or if there's a commode that's blocked up, then we check that out, or the heating is, we react. We are reactive rather than proactive. If you're a business, you need a scorecard. You need to know whether you're making a profit or a loss. If you're a church, you need a scorecard. And if you don't have these 9 systems that you evaluate periodically, you are in trouble. You're just in big trouble all over.
It's going to be interesting to see where the pastor stands in reference to the systems that we have created.
Yeah, that's why I wanted him here today, to get his feedback. But what I did was I studied the 10 largest churches in America, including the Potter's House. I find out how they do things. If what they do violated any one of our 27 fundamental beliefs, I took it off the list. If what they did was controversial and we wouldn't adopt it, I struck it off the list. I only took the best practices for a business. That's where we are. Any questions? Would this work? Monroe?
Yeah, it could work. I realized when I sat here on this note, even when I work with church, but I realized that leader, you have faith.
And leadership?
You have faith.
Here or?
Well, in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we should be at the head. But sometimes because we are so lazy, we step back. And even our home, if the men go forward, the young men go home. Not the lady. The man has to keep going. And so I realize in church, or even you also too, the first one they put up there, that's in the heart of the church.
The leadership?
Evangelism.
Evangelism, okay.
Evangelism. The church really rely upon the Sabbath school and the Bible class to keep it going. You realize people come into the Bible service to hear a sermon and go.
No.
Young people they might have them AY program, put on a show. But really and truly, the background, the Sabbath school, the men who study and know the Bible and the church and the church.
All right. Well, is that evaluated? periodical to see if your church is growing? Every month or every quarter when you meet, do you look at the membership rolls and say, you know what, we are flatlined. In the last 5 years, we haven't had a baptism.
Well, back home, what we do, like every board meeting, every department have to give their report. Whatever we are achieving that from evangelism, visitation, and blah, blah, blah. And you find that people come and say, well, I visit two houses and then the person go to church or have one baptism or so. Come my church have over 800 members.
Okay.
But the members have to work. What I think I can do it.
But is it evaluated periodically?
Yeah, every month.
Every month. Now, do they act upon the data that they get? For example, if it tells you in the last year you haven't baptized, what do you do?
Oh, we set a goal every year.
Okay, all right. All right. How about the others?
Well, I would say we set a goal for everything. A budget, we set a goal, visitation, we set a goal, visitation for and so.
Okay.
So you realize that for you to be in that department and to keep that department, then you have to work.
All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Would this sell, Tim?
I was thinking about like what he said, Sabbath school. We don't really count to find out how many people are attending and how much revenue is coming in as far as offering. We don't really do that. We used to a long time ago.
Well, how do you know if you're making progress?
We don't.
We don't. We just basically look and see who's there and if it's.
Well, then this is for you. This is for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is for you. That's what this is for. And whether you're a pastor or an elder, you're an elder. You have to evaluate the total. You see what I'm saying?
It's not just the budget, but to
No,
tell what we're doing.
Report.
Yeah, report. But that didn't. We did last time we did that. I think it was with Francois.
Yeah,
right?
a while ago.
And it didn't really. We couldn't even cover everybody because it was.
How about leadership development? Before I get here, were you doing that? Leadership development? No? So when you retire, who's going to take your place? When you transfer your membership, yes, sir.
Oh, I was going to take her car.
You're going to take his.
These two guys right here. You know?
But I think the problem is that we assume that somebody else has the qualities. So you say we have these young guys who are going to come, quote unquote, take over, but we have no idea what they're going to do. They haven't been developed. We're just saying, hey, you just do your own thing, as opposed to this is what's important, et cetera, et cetera.
You don't want that.
One of the things that
Hang on. Let me take this.
I remember at least in one of the conferences that I was in, every year the conference would have like the treasurer's seminar. They have the Sabbath school training. They help the church with training to build the membership. But I have not heard here in this conference training. For example, every year in the Northeastern Conference, the treasurers would go up to training. But I called when I came treasurer here, and I asked that question, and they were saying, no, we necessarily have that, but the bookkeeper will call you. But you need training to train the people.
Yes.
For the conference level.
Accountant, whatever profession you are, you have to keep your skills sharp and relevant. You have to keep up with the best business practices, changes in laws, litigation. So you have to keep up with it. It doesn't matter. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's been when I first became the, that was when
Alari?
Alari, Alari, and we actually traveled as a group to California to a seminar. They had a deacon seminar, they had deaconess seminar, they had elders, and everybody went to all on training how you need to progress and grow it was all training. And it was in another conference, it was in California.
And that was some time ago.
And that was
15 years ago?
Yeah.
That was the conference that he was from.
Yeah.
Really? Here's the deal. Whether you're a business or if you have children, it doesn't matter. If you don't have consistent leadership and training in your profession to get better, your church is not going to grow. You're not going to grow. You have to have leadership, training and development. So when I came here, that's what this is about. So you don't go by the seat of your pants or your intuition or how you feel. You know what the thing is supposed to look like. And if it's not that way, you know what it is to fix it. That's how you get better at your leadership. All right.
That's another question. Like,
yes.
And the elders here, the church appoint and lead as well elders.
No.
Well, we have so there's elders assigned to departments. Like I'm assigned to this department, but in terms of training, no, it's just for overseers. You know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I come to the thing. Back home, I have a leader assigned to me as an elder. So we had this leader in training. So just we build up and you said exactly.
Succession plan.
If you have a leader training to take over from you, then we are failed. So that's a good idea. I really end up in and I love it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but that's what we covered last week. So if you weren't here, this is just an overview. We conducted the experiments and this kind of thing, and I showed you what we did with our stuff. We're going to run this back with AY. I will use a larger stuff or put it on the overhead projector so that everybody can see.
And we hope to get a lot of young folks there to get their opinions
right.
on a lot of these things.
And then maybe that other time we can evaluate what our evangelism is doing. Since we evaluated worship and prayer, we didn't evaluate finances, but we can do a thorough evaluation on maybe one or two of the other areas and see where everybody think things are. But as I said, if you get a red, and I know, for example, with buildings and grounds, I would give it a red. We cannot compete. We have some work to do. All right. That